Hello, Blackhawks Nation. Welcome to the Blackhawks Daily, your favorite recap of the daily buzz around your Chicago Blackhawks. I'm your host, PJ. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for riding along with me. You guys are my ride or dies. Thank you so much for being a part of this journey with us as we head towards the centennial season of the Hawks, original six team. Not a lot to talk about these days, but we're trying to keep the Hawks on the forefront of your mind while it's now September. That means training camp is just literally around the corner. And then October 7th, puck drop, Sunrise, Florida, on ESPN, national game. Let's go. Come on, folks. All right, so let's talk about the top four topics we got for today. So Connor Bedard was just 8 years old the last time NHL players went to the Olympics. And now he's got a real shot of wearing the Maple Leaf for Team Canada in 2026. So let's talk about what that means, why it's not just a cool moment for Bedard, but a signal that his star is rising faster than anyone probably could have expected. Team Canada's Olympic orientation camp is happening this week, it started happening last week. And while nothing is finalized, Connor Bedard and Macklin Celebrini, two of the youngest guys in the room, are in the mix. And Team Canada GM Doug Armstrong made it crystal clear. He says, quote, "There's no age limit. If they're good enough to help this team win, you'll make the team," end quote. So yeah, Bedard may be young, but he's not just there for show. He's there because they actually believe he could actually make the team. So let's take a second to appreciate that. Connor Bedard, still only 19, coming off his Calder Trophy season with the Blackhawks, is already being seriously considered as for a Canadian Olympic roster stacked with the likes of Sidney Crosby, Connor McDavid, Nathan MacKinnon, and Cale Makar. That is the epitome of best on best hockey. No World Juniors, no IIHF Worlds. This is the show. And now, he didn't play in the Four Nations face-off earlier this year, but he's among the 43 NHLers invited to this camp. Same goes for Celebrini, who went first overall to San Jose just a few months ago and put up 25 goals and 63 points in his rookie season. Strong numbers, for sure, but Bedard still has the edge in terms of experience, production, and honestly, star power. Head coach John Cooper said this week that 43 players are in camp, but only 25 make the roster. And while there's no one being handed anything, Bedard's already proven that he can rise to the moment, especially in high-pressure, big-stage situations. And he says, quote, "They're not here because they're young, they're here because they deserve to be," end quote. And that's what Cooper said. And that's exactly what Blackhawk fans should be excited about. If Bedard does make Team Canada, it would be massive, not just for him, but for the Blackhawks brand and for USA-based hockey fans in general. He's already checking off milestones. First overall pick in 2023, Calder Trophy winner in 2024, led all rookies in goals and points, and now a shot at the Olympics before he even turns 21. Even if he doesn't make the final cut, this camp isn't just about experience. As Armstrong said, and I quote, "They're not at this event to gain experience, they're here to make the team," end quote. So that tells you everything that you need to know about Bedard's trajectory is heading. He's not just next up. He's already here. So here's my question for you. Does Bedard crack Team Canada's final roster in 2026? And if he does, who do you think he'll line up with, in those games? So drop your thoughts in the comments. Let me know what you think. Moving on from there, we are taking a look at another week and yet another win for the Blackhawks prospect pipeline. We know it's already been very, very highly regarded. On Tuesday morning, Corey Pronman over at The Athletic dropped his latest list, ranking the top NHL players and prospects under the age of 23. And the Blackhawks? Oh yeah, they were well represented again. So here's the setup. To qualify, players had to be 22 years old or younger as of September 15th, 2025, which means this isn't just a prospect list. You got NHL regulars like Matty Beniers, Logan Cooley, Owen Power, all mixed in with names like Bedard and Celebrini and Adam Fantilli. And out of 173 total players, 11 of them were Chicago Blackhawks, which is outstanding. Not a big surprise, though, if you caught Proman's pipeline rankings last week. He had the Blackhawks listed second overall in prospect pipeline in the NHL. So let's run through who made the cut on this list and where. So, tier number 1, elite player. Celebrini was number 1, Connor Bedard, number 2. Only 2 players made the elite tier, Bedard and Celebrini, and that's it. Not much to say here. We all know he belongs. Don't be shocked if he overtakes Celebrini by this time next year. Now, we have no one in tier 2. Tier 3, which are bubble all-star, top of lineup. At number 22 overall, Artem Levshunov. He's a 5th ranked defenseman on the list, behind Luke Hughes, Zeev Buenum, Matthew Schaefer, and Sam Dickinson. He's also ranked ahead of Owen Power and Lane Hudson, which I am sure will go over real smooth in Montreal. But seriously, Levshunov's ceiling is massive, and the league's starting to take notice. On tier 4, a top lineup player. Number 26, Anton Frundell. Sharks fans, calm down. Yeah, first of all, why are you watching this channel if you are a Sharks fan? But if you are, great. Happy you're here. Welcome. But calm down. I know you've got 3 centers ahead of him, but Pronman still has Frundell just outside the top 25. Yes, he's behind guys like Will Smith, Michael Misa, and James Higgins. But the tools are there for Frundell to leapfrog a few names down the road. Let's check back on this list in about 3 years. Crap, I'll say let's check back at it next year because he's going to be coming from the SHL. He's going to have all kinds of experience. I think he'll be doing very, very well on that list. Tier number 5, bubble top, middle of lineup. Number 45, Frank Nazar. Kind of low for me. This one caught my attention. Pronman's never been the biggest Nazar guy, but he has admitted Nazar's proven him wrong before. He only rated his skating as above average, which, whatever, okay. But I think high end would be fair. He did give Nazar a high end for competing and being competitive, and that's what's going to keep him moving up the list like these. Tier number 6, middle of lineup players, and then this is where we got 7 of them. We got number 80, Kevin Korchinski, 86, Sam Renzel, 111, Sacha Boisvert, 113, Oliver Moore, 136, Mason West, 151, Colton Dock, and 162, Roman Kantsarov. I really think a lot of these are very low. But what stands out here? Renzel behind Korchinski again, but that's not necessarily wrong. But if you're projecting for long-term upside, I'm not sure if there's a 77-player gap between Renzel and Buem. Just saying. So now, if you're comparing rebuilds, and let's be honest, you are. San Jose also had 11 players on the list. But after their top 5, it falls off pretty quickly. Utah had 10 players. Anaheim had 9. So yeah, Chicago's right where they need to be. The list just confirms what we already know. The Blackhawks have depth, top-end talent, and a pipeline that's going to start making serious NHL impact in the next 12 to 18 months. So which name on this list are you most excited about? Is Nazar too low? I think so. Does Frundell deserve more love? I think Renzel, Sam, he deserves a little more love, Mr. Renzel. But hey, that's what these lists are for. That's what makes them fun. And then next year, we're going to check back on them and make these people just eat crow. Moving on from there, if there is one piece of unfinished business left for the Blackhawks this offseason, that's getting Wyatt Kaiser signed. But if you think this contract holdup is just about money, it's not. Training camp is right around the corner, as we mentioned. It's been pretty quiet summer here in Chicago, as we know. Kyle Davidson didn't go out and add a bunch of veteran pieces, and that's by design. He wants the kids to take over. But one of those kids, Wyatt Kaiser, is still unsigned. And it's not because he's asking for some massive payday. This feels like it's more about term than dollars. So let's be honest. Opinions on Kaiser are all over the place. Some fans think that he could eventually be a top pair guy. Others see him as fringe depth player. But the truth, he's probably somewhere in the middle. He's only 23. Last year, he split time between the Hawks and Rockford. In 57 NHL games, he had 4 goals and 8 points. But the numbers don't tell the full story. He shows flashes, and he's a guy who keeps coming back better every time he gets sent down. He spent most of last year paired with veterans like Murphy, Seth Jones, TJ Brody, Alec Martinez. But when he was on the ice with younger guys like Korchinski, Nolan Allen, and Louis Crevier, his metrics were actually better. He's a smart, system-focused defenseman. Not flashy, but steady. Think hybrid stay-at-home with a bit of puck-moving upside. He's the kind of guy coaches love because he puts in the work, he understands the game, and he improves every time he hits the ice. Or at least he really puts his effort towards it. There's even a world where he's a future coach himself. That's how he thinks about the game. So why isn't he signed? Simple. Term. If I'm Wyatt Kaiser's agent, I'm pushing for a longer deal. Lock in some security while there's still uncertainty around the Blackhawks blue line. But if I'm Kyle Davidson, I'm not ready to hand out terms just yet. The truth is the Hawks have a lot of young defensemen. We've covered that before too. Kaiser, Korchinski, Del Mastro, Allen, Renzel, Levchinov, Crevier, and that's before next year's draft, which is loaded with top defensemen again. Davidson doesn't know what the long-term core looks like yet, but he hopes Kaiser's a part of it, but he's not putting that in ink with a 5-year or 6-year deal, not yet. Only Alex Vlasic has truly shown he's a cornerstone on the back end, and he's got a 6-year contract to prove it. Kaiser hasn't earned that level of commitment yet, and that's likely where the delay is coming from. So bottom line, I expect Kaiser to be at training camp, contract signed. My guess, 3 years, maybe $10 million total, a middle ground, right? It gives both sides time to figure out what he really is and where he fits in this very crowded, evolving blue line picture. So let's hear it. What's your read on Wyatt Kaiser? Do you want to lock him up for long term now or wait and see what he becomes? We just gone through this exercise with Nazar and Bedard. We signed Nazar to a long-term deal because he's shown some flashes, want to lock him down. Bedard, obviously, if he comes in as hot as I think he's going to come in this year and plays to the level which we all know he can play to, his eventual contract signing is going to be massive. So what are the Hawks going to do here? Lock him up long term, wait and see what he becomes. What do you guys think? Drop your thoughts below. Thank you. Keep subscribing and sharing about the channel. Love all that stuff. And, we're going to be doing this all season long, so it's really fun. We're just getting started here. And with that, let's talk about some feedback from the fans. We got some hot takes. Ernest Eisen, 7979, repeat offender, Mr. Ernie. He says, to me, this is the first season of the rebuild, at least when it comes to building future star players into an actual team. It's also the last wins don't matter season. They're going to make mistakes, and I'm hoping the Hawks' young D-men can take a nice step forward by season's end. I think this year the team needs to play with better structure and more energy. That's the next step. Ernest, cannot argue against you, sir. I think that's very pragmatic and a really good way of looking at it. We need sustainable steps moving forward. We need to see that progress meter moving in the right direction. And yeah, we can certainly do that this year. I, of course, want to be a little bit more optimistic. 100th year, 100th centennial season. But you're 1,000% right. Steady, steady, steady. John Hardy, 5068. Not sure if he's a repeat offender. I don't remember. His name doesn't stick out. If he was, it's a while ago. I was very impressed watching Slaggert and Kaiser last year. Slaggert seemed to be the hardest worker when he was on the ice, and Kaiser has a similar style to Quinn Hughes. I think both of them will do well on the team all season. Thank you, John. That's a really good take. Absolutely agree with you, sir. Jeff Freeze, 947, says, would prefer to see more Green, Lardis, Korchinski, Levchinov, and Rockford getting huge minutes in first-line power play and penalty killing responsibilities, respectively. Yes, I've already heard that more might be starting down in Rockford. We don't know yet, obviously. Lardis, Lord knows that guy's got so much potential, but he's, where do we know he's going to fit on the list? We don't know yet, so it's going to be very, very interesting. But thank you very much for that, Jeff. Haggerty6, I do believe, is a repeat offender. He says, I'm looking forward to these late teenage guys filling out into their early 20s bodies. Bedard, Nazar, Korchinski, Doc will all be bigger and stronger just by being on a planet another year. Well, that is true. That is how that goes, and I agree with you. As they start to bulk up, as they start to really get with some really, top of the world training, they're going to be a bunch of flying men around there on the ice, and it's going to be fun to watch. So, thank you for that, Haggerty. And Michael Greener, 4959, said, no, Bedard plus Nazar, too small. Besides, both would be centers this season. They belong in separate lines, except for PPOs. Then he wrote a ton of very insightful thoughts. So go check that out. I literally can't read all that. But go check it out. Very, very thoughtful stuff. So, guys, that's a wrap for today, folks. Keep sending in your thoughts. Keep talking about, giving your opinions on all these points that we bring up. It really does, make this a lot of fun. It's like having a conversation. But also, a lot of your insights are very, very helpful. So love it. That's what makes Hawks fans the best. We're passionate. We're not always right, but we're also not always wrong. So, and when we're wrong, we take accountability for it. And when we're right, we boast a little bit, but what the hell. But thank you so much for tuning in, getting your Blackhawks Daily download. Thank you for sharing about the channel, helping me get this out to as many people as possible, helping us grow this thing. Thank you for being such avid fans of this Original Six fantastic team that we have here in Chicagoland. Heading into the Centennial season, we're holding them up because it's the best. It's the best city for hockey. It's the best hockey team in the league, and it's the best city on planet Earth. So thank you so much for that. Really appreciate it, guys. That does it for today. I'm PJ, and we'll see you next time